All right, guys, this is the third part of the LAOCOON story. This is where the serpents actually get to the shore. So last time we read, they were actually still just swimming into the shore, but this is where they actually get to the shore and start the attack, and it's terrible. All right, so there arose, this is your verb. It's kind of impersonal. This is technically the nominative subject. A noise arose. Yeah, you could say there arose a noise. Yeah, I like that one better. It sounds cooler. This is also a present verb being translated like a past. It's a historical present. Don't miss that right off the bat. So a noise arose. There arose a noise. This is an ablative absolute with the with the sea foaming, frothing, spraying. It's indicating that they got to the shore. That's where all the sea salt spray is, right up at the shore where the waves break. So there arose a noise with the sea foaming. And now they were holding the fields. Now they've gotten to the land. And this is your nominative perfect passive participle right here. Having been suffused with blood and fire with respect to their burning eyes. It's like, in terms of their burning eyes, they were filled with blood and fire. That is a really odd way to say it. This part that I underlined with the squiggly underline is an accusative of respect. We rarely see that. We often see ablative of respects. Accusative of respect is very rare. It would probably make more sense linguistically to make it an ablative absolute, with their burning eyes having been filled with blood and fire. We can't do that. Virgil can't do that because of the meter. So he uses an accusative of respect. That's a weird one. So I'm going to start at the beginning. There arose a noise with the sea salt, with the sea foam or sea salt foaming. And now they were holding the fields, and having been filled, having been suffused with blood and fire with respect to their burning eyes, they were licking their hissing mouths with vibrating tongues. They were licking their hissing mouths with vibrating tongues. That's a good chiasmus in there for you. He is going to, remember, Aeneas is speaking, so he's going to use a we to indicate that he was there. He saw this happening. So we fled away from this sight. That's a supine. This literally means like out of blood, pale. We fled away from the sight, pale. Those ones, these are the serpents. That's why they're nominative and plural. These ones, in a certain or a sure battle line, seek, I'm going to say sought, even though it's present, historical present, sought LAOCOON. So they head straight for LAOCOON. The next three lines are the saddest thing in the whole Aeneid, all of the Aeneid, the saddest part. And first, the serpents, that's your subject, having embraced the small bodies of his two sons, both like entwined around them. And here's your next verb. They pascator, they devoured their miserable bodies with their bite. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. They're heading right for LAOCOON, but his kids are there. So it says, but first the serpents, having embraced the small bodies of the two sons, both entwined them and devoured their miserable bodies with a bite. Oh man, that is so very sad. They just stop and eat the kids for no reason. The kids didn't even do anything wrong. Kids just standing there. So sad. Makes me so sad. All right, let me scroll and go into those last four lines. Give me 1 second. I will erase that for you. Just moving on from the sadness. All right, this next part is actually the attack on LAOCOON himself. This is actually the attack on LAOCOON himself. So after next, They seize, they grab. This is the same word that we saw for Aeneas and Aeneid taking up the way, right? They corripuera viam, I believe. So afterwards, they grab him, himself, LAOCOON. That's the direct object here. Bringing help, or like coming up as help, and carrying spears. So that was not a very clear mark. These two words, ferentem and sabuentem, those are present active participles, the ing ones, modifying he himself. So after they, the serpents, grab he himself, LAOCOON, coming up with help and carrying weapons, It's specifically spears, which is an interesting word choice, just considering that that is the thing he threw at the horse, right? So, and they bind him with their huge coils. They bind him with their huge coils. I would have put a period here. He puts a comma, no big deal. I'm changing colors for you. And now, and notice we have two clauses that start with bis, right? Bis means twice. So twice having embraced his middle. Twice having given around, or having been given around his neck with their scaly backs. That is a weird thing to say. So they're describing the serpents. Twice having embraced his middle. That's LAOCOON's middle. So they wrap themselves like twice around his torso. This is a perfect deponent participle. So it looks passive, but it's really active sounding, right? Actually, right here's the vocab word for you. So twice having embraced his middle. Twice having been given. This is a temesis. This is where we take a two-part word, kirkum and dati, and it should be one, kirkum dati, but we break the two pieces apart to fit the meter, or sometimes to just make it sound poetic and nice. So twice having been given around his neck, that's dative after that compound verb. That's a verb with a preposition. Having been given around his neck, with respect to their scaly backs. That is a Greek ablative of respect. That's a cool one. We hardly ever see that. That's two super rare grammar things in one reading. So those are both amplexi, and kirkum dati are both perfect participles, which is interesting. Bis is repeated, and then this A, B, that's a synchesis over the line break. That's also cool. So that's just the lead in, that's just the preposition, or excuse me, the participle phrase is leading in. They superon, again, this is the snakes. They are above him, they overcome him with respect to their head and tall necks. They overcome him with respect to his head and tall necks, meaning they climb all the way up him, they embrace his middle, they embrace his neck, and now they're up over his head. They're the snakes are kind of looming over him. All right, guys, good work today.